And I would think like even as an individual that's going through this exercise themselves also, that you're going to discover new reasons why also, like, why do I want to lose 5 pounds? Let me think about that a little bit more because I want this. Well, why is that? I mean, it just takes us down this road that I think is so important, that I actually see this as, like, the more that we're talking about this, can you imagine if managers actually did this, how this would impact home life? Because we're teaching people how to set these goals at work, and we're going to make sure that we're supporting them in a way that's really effective. Can you imagine how this could impact somebody like, you know what? I did these amazing things last year at my place of employment. Here's what I want to do in my personal life this time.
Without question.
I'm going to do the exact same thing.
I agree. I think things are changing for sure, where the employer who understands empathy and understands, the importance of a person's personal development and situation, married, not married, parent, not parent, understanding where they are. To me, I cannot stress the importance of it. It used to drive me nuts when a company would say that, your personal life and your business life can't mix. And I would say, my personal life is my business life. 3/4 of my life, I am here with adults that are not my family. This affects my personal life. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
It's not my personal life not here. This is affecting who I am as a husband, as a father, as a friend. They are one. If I am out of sync in one area, I will eventually break in the other. You can't be out of balance. We had a guest the other day that spoke, and they said in harmony. And I love that. We can't be out of harmony in the different areas of our life. And I think that that's absolutely important that you specify the emotional aspect here in setting goals. It's important. And I think that is good that you brought it up. I'm really happy about that. So now we're going to get into T. Can we get into T, or are we done with E?
So T's just about time bound. So you've either got to look at putting a line in the sand and saying this is going to be done by February 1 or March 1, whatever that is. But the other type of time bound that you can do is to say, I'm going to exercise 3 days a week, right? So it's not about a time bound. This never ends, so to speak. I'm just going to make sure that I do this a certain number of times, or whatever it might be in a work setting, but I'm going to make sure that I'm doing these things. This is what I commit to on a regular basis. I'm going to do these 2, 3, 4 times a week. Right? That's it.
And with those time bombs, as you're calling it, so do you encourage, like the managers, to encourage the employee who's setting this goal? Like, if it's going to be like you're going to do this 3 times a week, like put it in the calendar now? Like, do you set aside that time now, or just...
Yeah, no. So I encourage to look at this, break down a year in terms of a quarterly basis, and say, what are you going to do by the end of the quarter, right? What are you going to do in this month? What do you need to have accomplished, right?
I was actually going to ask that. I'm really glad that you said that. So you're taking the goal,
right now on a weekly basis. Okay, so if this is what you said you're going to accomplish by the end of the month, what do you need to do each week to make sure that happens? And all we need to do at that point, I think the problem here is that managers think like, oh God, this is going to take a lot of time. And I would argue that it's counterintuitive, that it takes less time than your crappy cramming at the end of the year and you get nothing done. Whereas what we can do here, because I'm all for what I would tell an employee, you need to drive your own development here. That your manager is there to advocate for you, to make sure that you can get to the level you want to go to, but it's your job to do the work. Right? You can't rely on them to do the work. And to me, if we meet once a week and I say, you know what, by this week, this is what I'm committing to do, this is what I need to do, then for us to check in, it might be just a question of saying, did you get there? What happened during the week? Were you able to hit your numbers? Yep, I'm all set. Or nope, I didn't hit it. Well, what got in the way? What do you think is going to allow you to get back on track for next week? How can I support you?
I love that.
We're done.
Drive your own development and make it simple. Like, what worked? What didn't work? All right.
How can I support you?
Yeah, that's it. How can I support you? Let's make let's readjust for next week.
Right.
And let's keep going. End of month, same kind of concept. How are we doing? Where are we at?
Boom.
End of
So
quarter, how we do? I love that. I love that.
Right. We don't end the end of the quarter all of a sudden like you're way off track, because you would have known long before. Because maybe it's an opportunity to say, you know what, that goal that I had set before, 2 other projects have come into play. I'm not going to be able to accomplish that. Okay. What do you think we need to do to readjust this? Boom.
And it's not a failure of not being able to achieve the goal. It's the fact that things change, which is why we need to be visiting this on a frequent basis to check, not just because we can't do it, but because now things have changed and we need to readjust priorities in these goals. No, that's so important.
And these are short check-ins. Because like you were saying, Patrick, earlier, that a lot of times managers think, oh, like, great, like one more thing that I have to do now. I have to monitor their goals. But we're talking about how to go last week. Did you hit your numbers? Did you not hit your, like whatever your goals, your metrics are that you're measuring, like what's getting in the way? How can we correct it? I mean, we're talking about like a 5-minute meeting almost to course correct.
So listen to this. It wouldn't even have to be that. If as a manager, you might even be able to say to them, okay, here's what you said you're going to accomplish for the week. Here's what I want you to do. Reach out to me only if you're not able to accomplish that. If you weren't able to do it, reach out to me and let's figure out, we'll get together and figure out how to readjust on this. But other than that, boom. But I'm not gonna let that go a month or a quarter for that to happen. We're just gonna have I get the text and I might say, okay, what's the commitment for next week? What do you need to do by next week to make sure that you're staying on track? Same thing. So the only time you need to really reach out to me in a month is if there are problems. If you're not on track, then let's circle back around.